Oh my goodness. Welcome to the show. My name is Liz, and every other Sunday, I have a chat with one of your favorite YouTube personalities. And today, my goodness, is no exception. No exception, because today I have the absolute pleasure of chatting with, I still can't believe this is happening, I have Nicola White Mudlark from the United Kingdom here today. We are going to have a wonderful, wonderful chat. If this is something that gets you all excited, please consider subscribing to my channel. And when you do, you must hit that notification bell and tell YouTube that you want to be advised every time I go live and chat with a YouTube personality. So right on, right on. My goodness, I have to pinch myself. Yes, Nicola is in the house. Nicola is in the house. She will be here very, very shortly. She is having some tea in the green room. As I do every time I go live, I want to thank all of you for watching and joining in this stream today. If you weren't there, I certainly would not be here, and I thank you all very much for that. Everyone, please, if you have perhaps forgotten to hit the like button on this stream, I would ask that you all take a second, hit the like button on this stream. It not only helps the stream to rank a little bit higher, but just one day, we might be suggested on someone's homepage, and my goodness, the number of people in that chat would absolutely explode, just like the bomb in the introduction. So right on. Before I bring Nicola into the stream, I just want to say hello to each and every one of you in the chat, because like I said, it's the very least thing I could do. So here goes. At home with CJ, thank you so much for joining. Treasure Talk also in the house. Jack Collingwood from across the pond. Jack, thank you so much for joining me today. Gabriel Barlow is here. Lisa P. 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗓𝗪𝗢. Amanda Bell. Hello, Amanda. We also have Larry Griffith. Larry has his tea and or coffee. The Malaysia Metal Detector, all the way from Malaysia. Thank you so very much for joining me today. We have Treasure Hunters Ilaria. I believe from Albania. My goodness. We are truly, truly international, and I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us today. GTA Dave in the house, as is Rivendell Coins and Antiquities. Right on. Frederick Romano also in my house, as is a Zombie. Zombie is apparently a very, very big fan of Nicola. So Zombie, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that. We also have the Weird Guy in the park. Weird Guy, right on. My goodness. Wow, Gypsy, Zero Discrimination. Gypsy, welcome. I hope you are well. I really, really do. We also have Neil from Australia, Diggers Down Under, the Comic Chef, Mud Pies in the house, Risers Treasure Hunting Emporium, PA Relic Hunters says, good morning, Liz and everyone. My goodness. Who else is in my house this morning? Mark Thomas is here. Starry Luck also here. Jimmy Cloak is here. My goodness. Thank you. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Wow. My goodness. What is going on here? Something just happened to my chat. My goodness. At home with CJ. I think I said that. I'm pretty sure I did. The Fight Doctor says, greetings from Calgary, Alberta. Hello to Calgary. I hope the weather out there is starting to get spring-like, because here in Southern Ontario, it is actually, I believe it's going to be in the teens Celsius today. And hopefully I will definitely get out metal detecting this afternoon. Sandal Sven from Germany. My goodness, we have a lot of countries represented in the chat today. And again, I thank you all very much for joining. Now, I know why you're here. You're here because Nicola is here. So, oh my goodness, somebody was commenting about this. No, that is not a pink snake. That is actually the sun peering through the blinds that I have shut. So yeah, that oh, there you go. Oh my goodness, everything is always, it's always reversed on the screen. There you go. There you go. That is not a snake. That is the sun. And yes, it's funny because the wintertime lighting for the studio here has changed because of the light coming in through the window. And I am a little overexposed today. I will definitely work on my lighting. To dive and detect in the house, thank you for joining. My goodness, Zombie is actually here from North Carolina. So Zombie, right on, right on. All right. I know what you're here for. So all right, I told Nicola that I would bring her in at about 10 minutes past the hour. It is not 10 minutes, so I am going to bring her in today. Weird guy in the park, no green screen today. No green screen today. All right, I am going to bring our guest into the chat. All right, so, all right, here comes Nicola. Hey!
I feel like I need to come in tap dancing or something.
Were you listening to the show?
Yeah, wow. Hello, everyone. Zombie, mud pies, Malaysia, everybody. Hi, great to see you all, or hear you all. Great that you're all there.
Oh my goodness. I want to thank you. Thank you very much for coming on to Coffee with Liz. Like I said, I'm absolutely, as the people would say in Britain, I am gobsmacked. Absolutely thrilled that you are here today. Now, I know there are some people that may not know what mudlarking is. I know that's probably a small number, but what exactly is mudlarking?
Okay, well, the term mudlarking dates right back to pre-Victorian times, and the mudlarks, the original mudlarks, they were often young children, young boys, old ladies too. They used to go down to the River Thames at low tide, and they could often be seen right up to their knees with baskets on their heads, their clothes really thick with mud, and they were searching for anything that they could find to sell, to take home and feed their family. And so those were the original mudlarks. They really were the poorest of the poor. You wouldn't aspire to be a mudlark. And then if you fast forward to now, of course, the modern day mudlarks, we also go down to the foreshore at low tide. And we're looking for pieces of history thrown out by the tide, left out for us to research. And luckily, we don't have to sell our finds to feed our families. And we are better equipped. We have boots and tide timetables and our permits. And so, yeah, that's where the term mudlarking originates from.
Now, mudlarking recently has become extremely popular. I'm just, how do I change this? I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. What is going on? There we go. I apologize.
I'm on the other side of you now.
No, oh my goodness. I don't know how this, let's see. Oh, well. There you go. There you go. Now, it has become, it's exploded in popularity, and one might say that it's even become kind of romanticized. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I've never met anybody who hasn't been inspired by mudlarking, because really what we're looking for, I mean, a lot of people say, what's the most valuable thing you found? But I think I can speak for many mudlarks when I say that. You know, it's the story behind the object. And that's why I suppose there's this romanticism connected with it. Because when we find an object in the mud, it's not just a simple piece of metal. It's got a story behind it. and those are my favorite kind of finds, when you find something that you can link to a person or a place. And then you've got that whole story that unfolds. And so I think that's why it's romanticized. It's that inspiration behind the find.
Yes, yes. Now, I went back to your videos, and the first time that you actually posted a video on YouTube about mudlarking was about 5 years ago, and you found, I think you showed some bomb exploding or something like that. What got you interested in the hobby?
Well, I grew up in Cornwall, which is in the southwest of England. It's a really beautiful place. And so I used to do a lot of beach combing, collecting anything I could find, driftwood, metal, rope, glass, what have you, to make collages and assemblages. When I moved to London in about 1998, I found myself down on the Thames foreshore and hadn't realised that I was going to find little pieces of glass and pottery, and then one day I found my first coin, and it was that gripped my imagination, holding something in my hand that somebody had dropped over 100 years before.
And the rest, they say, is history.
Yeah, that's right. It went on from there, really. And then I became a devoted fan, like so many others.
Yes. Were there role models for you when you started in mudlarking? Because I mean,
well, at first I didn't realise mudlarking was a thing, to be honest. I sort of just drifted into this activity of going down to the river and searching. And it was such an activity which is very calming and peaceful to get away from the busy life of London. And it wasn't until I started finding out a little bit more about it that I realised that there was a community of people that did actually go mudlarking. And then I realised that it was actually an official activity. Mm-hmm. So at that point, there was a group called 𝗤𝗫𝗢𝗪𝗪𝗪, and I joined them. And so, so then I learned from them. And as you know, now it's become extremely popular. More and more people are mudlarking.
Yes, I would imagine that now you have become that mentor figure for a lot of other people out there, because your channel has just exploded.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes things that you do that you didn't intend to do just are successful. I think that's often the way it is. Yes. You know, I didn't even really plan. I didn't plan on making a YouTube channel. I think in fact, if you go right back to my first videos, they're pretty. I didn't even know how to edit anything then at all. And I was just sitting there, recorded a few things that I'd found, I think, and it just went on from there. It was a very natural, organic progression, you know, and I've learned as I've gone along. But like I said, it was never on my strategy list to start a YouTube channel.
Yes, and you have definitely evolved from those first videos.
Thankfully.
Now, the majority of your videos and your mudlarking activity takes place on the Thames. Why is that such an ideal, other than it being, I guess, very accessible to you? Why is the Thames River, what is it about the Thames that makes it ideal for mudlarking?
Well, there's several reasons, really. The River Thames is flowing right through the centre of London, which has always been such a hugely busy place, and so many civilizations have lived along its banks over the years, and the Thames has been used as a rubbish bin for centuries. And so Romans, Victorians, Georgians, you know, Neolithics, all sorts of things have been thrown and lost in the river. So, and the fact that it's tidal, of course, you know, which is unlike many rivers in other parts of the world, in other cities, you know, we're very fortunate because we have a low tide twice a day. And each time it goes out, you know, it's leaving little pieces of history on the mud for us to find. There's also the fact that the Thames mud is without oxygen, anaerobic. So anything that's been dropped in there or lost, it tends to be preserved very, very well until it, you know, comes out again in pretty much the same condition. So all these different factors, and the fact that when the tide's out, the Thames foreshore is one of the largest archaeological sites in the UK, if not the world, really. So yeah, we're very fortunate. And I guess that's why it's such a good place to go mudlarking.
So the items that you find could be anywhere from modern day to many, many centuries in the past.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, people find Neolithic flints, and then we go right up through all the different eras until our era now. And like I said, I've got a large collection of messages in bottles. You know, I think the River Thames, it holds stories from all of these different times. The MP, John Burns, said the Thames is liquid history, and it really is like a giant liquid storybook. And the stories it contains aren't just from the olden days, but they're also the present.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a living river.
So I would imagine that no 2 days or 2 adventures for you are the same. Every day you could find practically anything in the mud.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's why it's so exciting, because when you go down to the river, you just don't know what you're going to find. You could find this, a clay pipe or 2 or 3. As probably a lot of people know, I do like my clay pipes. Or you could be finding a much stranger artifacts, like this dog that I found the other day, who actually, like I was telling you, I initially left him there because I thought he was some kind of strange voodoo creature. But he's not. He's a piece of art from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he's a 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗧𝗏 dog. Wow. And I had to run back and collect him before he floated off down the river. So, the things you find, you just never know. It's like a really big lucky dip of objects.
I gotta say that little dog there, he is absolutely beautiful. However, I think that if I saw his head poking up out of the mud, I would think that he was perhaps evil or had some...
Well, no, when I first saw him, I thought, well, who are you? You're definitely not coming home with me. And I took a photo of him and I left him where I found him. Oh. But then I put a photo on Twitter and I was contacted by several people who know about the art from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And apparently he's a 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗧𝗏 dog, which is like a power figure. And he probably dates back to the late 19th century. Wow. So I left him in the car for 2 days. I wouldn't let him in the house. But now I get on quite well with him.
Oh, my goodness. So for that piece to be there, did the river bring him in, or was he always there and he just got exposed? Or
I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery, really. I'm wondering if there's a big thing about the repatriation of art to the Democratic Republic now. Some museums have had these artifacts stolen. It could have been stolen some time ago, or it could have been found in somebody's attic and just thrown in the river. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery, but we're hoping to find out a lot more about him. There's some professors from Oxford who are going to be talking to me about him, see if we can find out, because we're probably going to be returning him to the DRC.
Mm-hmm. So yes.
There's an interesting tale from the river.
That is an absolutely fascinating tale, as I'm sure, oh my goodness, practically everything that you pull out of that or dig out of that mud has a tale behind it, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, it does. That's the magic of it, really. That's the magic of mudlarking for you.
Yes. Now, before we get into some of your stories and experiences, is mudlarking something that anyone watching right now, can they go out and start mudlarking on the Thames?
Well, no, you do have to have a permit from the Port of London Authority to go mudlarking. And you can find out all the information about that on the website of the Port of London Authority, which is, I think, pla.co.uk. And then they'll provide you with the information and the maps where you can and can't go, where you can scrape, where you can. But it's a really important requirement to legally mudlark. You do need a permit. And it lasts for 3 years when you buy one. Online, you can do it online. And it's about £90 for 3 years. So that's pretty good value, really.
Yes.
Very good if you go a lot like I do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we do need to declare what we find to the Museum of London, especially if it's over 300 years old or if it's significantly and historically important. Mm-hmm. So there are procedures to follow.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that something that they would, like a fines, I guess, for metal detecting, there's like a fines liaison officer there. Would this be something that they would leave up to you to decide that this is perhaps a historical item, or do you have to let them know what it is, like all the things that you find, and then they decide?
I think that, well, I mean, you generally get a good idea of what you've got. And there's such a big mudlarking community, on Instagram. There's so many people that you can ask about when you find something, on Facebook as well, that, you're always going to get good advice as to whether something should be shown to the museum. And, the Portable Antiquities Scheme, with the Fines Liaison Officer, he will take a look at what you've found anyway. Just it's always best to be sure. Always best to be sure.
Now, because of the popularity, do you run into a lot of people when you're mudlarking? Like, are you like almost, I don't know, arm in arm to people, or?
It depends where you go. I mean, if you're in central London, I think it gets very busy. Really? Obviously, now it's a little different because we don't really travel to mudlark right now because of the lockdown situation. Personally, I try and go to places where I don't see that many people. I like to go for a bit of a breathing space, so I don't really go into central London very often. Occasionally I do. But yes, it's very, very popular. So more and more people are going.
Yes. Now, what about equipment? I guess a pair of boots, and that's pretty much it.
Well, no, pair of boots, a good trowel. You can't scrape everywhere on the foreshore, but in certain areas you can. So I've got my trowel, a little fines bag, knee pads, gloves. I don't always wear gloves, but I always have some just in case. Tide timetable, obviously. It's good to take a phone, and you don't want to go on your own, really. It's better to go in pairs in case you get stuck in the mud.
I guess that has happened to you before.
Actually, no, so far so good. I haven't had any near misses, but there's always a first time, isn't there?
Now, you said that there's some areas where you can't scrape. Is that like digging? It would be eyes only kind of thing?
Yeah, that's right. It's eyes only. And on the north side of the Thames, certain areas such as Cannon Street, areas around there, if you're a standard permit holder, you can't scrape, you can't use a trowel or anything like that. It is eyes only.
Oh, okay. So are you able to find things with eyes only as well?
Yeah, I'd say the majority of things I find are eyes only because, if you start digging around in the mud anyway, you can't really see what you're doing. So I would say pretty much most of the things I found have been eyes only.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I think you are, and as someone, I believe someone in the chat has alluded to the fact that they love clay pipes and they love you. It's would you say that is your most common find?
It's certainly one of the most common finds, I suppose, but I do go out looking for them. I just love them. I never get fed up of doing a good pipe extraction. You never know how long that stem is going to be. Always very exciting. And so they are common because right from the introduction of tobacco in the late 16th century to England, people have been smoking pipes, and men, women and children. So they were only smoked a few times. They used to clog up, they used to break, and people would throw them away. So, they are referred to a lot as old-fashioned cigarette ends. And I suppose really that's what they are.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I was thinking that they were, I guess, very disposable to be able to find that many.
I know they were. It's surprising to us really to think that because they do look quite beautiful, really, especially some of the later ones, some little ones here, like this little lady.
Oh, that's lady. That's very
tobacco would have gone up her skirt.
Oh my goodness. They had a great sense of humor back then when they were manufacturing.
It's a nice floor pipe here. Some of them really are like little works of art, aren't they?
Did they have?
It's hard for us to imagine that they were used just a few times and then thrown away, but I guess they just didn't attach the same importance to them as we do. I mean, this is one of my more obscure ones. Not everyone will approve of this. It's a lady sitting on a chamber pot.
Oh my goodness!
Made by a French pipe maker. I mean, they got very imaginative, especially in the Victorian times. They used to love their fancy pipes. We got a little chap here.
Oh, yes.
So it's exciting, because you think, wow, what am I going to find now?
Yeah, you must have quite the collection of pipe bowls and stems.
Yes, I do have quite a collection. Yes, I do. And, it's also very nice when you find them with the maker on the side, that adds an extra layer of interest, because you can find out all about the person who made the pipe and the family of pipe makers. I've found out quite a lot about the local pipe makers here, and I've even contacted the descendants. So again, a clay pipe is not just a clay pipe; it can lead to some real good connections and some good stories.
Now you could definitely date a pipe by, I guess, the maker's mark. Not only that, but the design on it. Would you say, or?
Yeah, you can. You can date clay pipes. They started off with a very small bowl. I don't have one. Actually, I guess, the shape and the size. I mean, that's actually a very early one, sort of 1640, 1650. It's got that particular shape. And then they got a bit bigger. The bowls got bigger as tobacco got more available and less expensive. And they evolved into the more kind of elaborate pipes. This is slightly later on here, sort of early 19th century. And then all these pretty ones. So there's one here with a little horse galloping along.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
That's very nice. That is very nice.
Yeah.
What would you say is your oldest pipe?
My oldest pipe, I did find like a fairy pipe, like one of the oldest ones, which would have been dated back to about 1580 or so. And I've got that in the other room. It's so small, very, very tiny. And it would have been just a little weeny bit of tobacco in there. So that's very special. Yeah.
I would imagine. So what about your longest pipe? Did the size of your pipe determine, or was it indicative of your wealth, or
often they were very long. The churchwarden pipes, I can't remember why they're called churchwarden pipes. There's a reason. I think it's for people to smoke in church, but for the actual smoke to go out the window, I'm not quite sure. But I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, in the old paintings, you do see the people with the very, very long clay pipes.
Yes.
So it's possible it had something to do with wealth. I'm not actually certain about that, though, to be honest.
Now, what is sometimes we see you on video, and we're all excited because you think it's a complete pipe, and you're starting to pull it, and we're like, how long is the stem going to be? How long is the stem going to be? What is the biggest, or I guess most complete pipe that you have pulled from the mud?
Ooh, is it? I haven't got it sitting here, but it's fairly long.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember the exact length, but a nice long length. And it's amazing, really, when you think that they've been in the mud for a couple of 100 years at least, and they're still intact. I mean, that's just incredible. But the Thames mud is so very good at protecting them and cushioning them. So.
Sometimes it looks like you're digging through almost liquid cement.
Yes. Well, there's so many different bits of Thames mud, so many different types of thickness. I suppose you could get into the science of Thames mud, but it certainly does seem to do a good job of protecting the pipes.
Yes. What do you do with those little bits and pieces from the stems? I would imagine you have bucket loads and bucket loads of these pieces.
Well, I don't pick up everything, because that would be, I do pick up some and make pictures with them, but I tend to leave the plain clay pipe stems.
Okay.
I've got so many things here that I need to calm down on the certain things. So no, I tend to leave the pieces of clay pipe stem.
Okay. I guess the newer people can pick those up out of them.
Yeah, exactly, because they are still very exciting, aren't they? Let's face it. I mean, how often can you walk around and find these little pieces of the 17th, 18th century sitting there on the beach? I mean, it's quite special.
Yes, it's almost as though you're a bit of a time traveler, and that's why I said earlier, it's just it's very romanticized. I think it's absolutely a fascinating hobby.
It is. Yeah, it is. I think that's why so many people are keen to do it, because It is very inspiring, and you can just get lost in the moment, you know, when you're walking along,
Yeah.
searching for objects in the river. I mean, it's just the whole experience is very serene and special.
Hmm. Now, I think after pipes, most people, I know myself, anyways, the messages in a bottle.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get more fascinating than that. You found quite a few.
Yes, actually, found about 130 or so now.
Wow.
I don't take them all. These are actually photocopies of the messages. I take a photo and I usually, sometimes, not always, send them on their way. I've got a file. I don't know what
Oh.
file. Oh, here it is. I've got a file here full of messages in bottles. And it's quite special because, I mean, it just goes to show the Thames isn't just full of old stories. It's also got modern stories in it too. And messages in bottles have been sent since ancient Greek times. People do it for so many reasons, and it's another way of connecting. And it's special finding a message in a bottle because you don't see many handwritten letters around these days. People don't write so much. We've got
Yes.
emails and text. And so
This is
finding
true.
a message in a bottle is actually very, very exciting. And, you know, so many people write them. Children, old people say goodbye to people in them. People write because they're just happy. They write poems. And, you know, I've got several. I'll tell you about my favourite ones.
Yes, please do.
Well, I found one of my favourites, it will remain my favourite always, is the one I've found from a little boy called Jack. And all he wrote, I don't think I've got it in front of me, was, I wish I could be a Dino Thunder Power Ranger, the Red Ranger, from Jack Hodges. And I took a photograph of this and put it on Twitter and said, hey, you know, let's see, can we make Jack's dream come true? Not really thinking we would actually trace him. And it was retweeted loads and loads of times. And amazingly, we did actually trace Jack's family. And so I sent him a Power Ranger outfit. And then he sent a little card back with him wearing his Power Ranger outfit. And he'd say, you know, thank you very much for the film.
Wonderful. That is a wonderful story.
Well, you know, it's just the throwing your wish in the river and letting go of that wish, and then it just comes back to you. I think that's just such a magical thing to do. And, you know, many people do that. It's all about letting go, I think, throwing messages in bottles. I found quite a lot of people who are making their New Year's resolutions. They write them all down and then they throw them in the river. So it's funny. I mean, there are some funny tales. There was one I found from this guy. Actually, this is the copy. It says, hi, it's the 12th of April. Me and the love of my life are drinking wine. We're at Tower Hill, London. Once you get this, call me on. And he gave a couple of phone numbers to call. And so I found this. It was about 6 months later, and I rang the number and said, hi there, I'm just calling you because you know, you were on Tower Bridge with the love of your life drinking wine. And there was this very long silence, and I thought, yeah, sorry, you probably think I'm a bit strange ringing you up saying that. And he said, oh my god, I was so drunk when I rang. He never imagined anyone would find it. And I said, well, you know, I write a blog on messages in bottles. Would you like to send me a photograph of you and your love of your life? And he said, oh, we're not together anymore. You know. So there's so many of these funny little tales, you know, associated with these bottles.
Now, on the opposite side of the emotional scale there, have you read anything that was, or found a message that was a little dark?
Oh, there's lots of dark messages. Yeah, there are lots of dark messages. Again, you know, I would say I don't keep these messages. I do look at them because it's very hard not to when you find a message and you don't know if it's going to be dark or not before you open it up. Yeah, I mean, I found some dark ones. I found a sad one, but it was nice that I found it. It was a lady who wrote a letter because her sister died very unexpectedly, and she'd actually put a little bag of ashes in with this letter, and she asked whoever it was who found it if they could contact her to let her know how far she'd gone, because her sister was going to go on a round the world trip on a boat, but she died just before. So she wanted to send her out on this trip. And I found it in Greenwich, actually. And I kind of wish that I'd said that I found it in the Caribbean or something like that. But I told her where it was found, and she said, "Oh, that's typical Claire. She didn't really want to leave London, you know." And I sort of wished I'd said I'd found it a little further afield. But it was nice to connect with her, and again, I found quite a few sad ones of people that are just wanting to let go of their feelings and then put them in a bottle and let the water take these feelings away.
Yes, but like almost cathartic.
Yeah.
So you do read all your messages, or all the messages in bottles?
I do, yes. I suppose I'm nosy, and actually once one time somebody got me back on that, because I found this message which washed up along the Thames estuary in Kent, and I opened it up and it just said, all it said was, "You're a nosy beep, aren't you?"
Did it really?
I was so shocked I nearly threw it away. And then
I guess.
What? How dare you? But I didn't actually. I did keep that one.
I would have kept that one too, just because.
Being trolled by messages in bottles. I know.
Wow, that is funny. Now, what would be, and this might be hard, but what would be have you found anything really, really old? Because you said that messages in bottles have like major centuries. Anything old that you've found?
Oh, no. What, in terms of messages in bottles?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I'd love to find a really old one. I mean, the ones that I found are all pretty recent. I think the oldest one was sent in about 2002, something like that. So, nothing older than that. But yeah, I mean, one day maybe I'll find a really old one. That would certainly be on my wish list.
Because I would imagine those bottles have to be out there.
Yeah, they must be. And I've sent a few messages in bottles myself, I have to admit, and they're out there somewhere and nobody's found them yet. So, maybe one day.
As long as they're not cheeky like that one that you found. It's okay.
No, they're very kind. They're very kind.
My goodness, that's wonderful. I was going to ask you if you've sent your own messages out to sea, but yeah, you just said that.
Yeah, I have. I must admit, I put it in a glass bottle with a cork, and I wrote it in pencil, because if you write it in pen, it will fade in the sun over the years. And I have found a few messages that are completely bleak. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone out there watching, if you're going to send a message in a bottle, make sure that you write it in pencil.
Yeah, and put it in a glass bottle, obviously. We don't want to send lots of plastic bottles out into the world.
Yes, no, that would not be a good thing. Can we talk about pottery?
Yes, we can, but I'm not very good at pottery, but we can certainly talk about it.
You said you're not very identifying pottery, perhaps, or?
Well, I have a very good go-to person he's another mudlark who I tend to go to with my pottery. And he is absolutely brilliant. That's 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗓𝗪𝗧. And he's got a YouTube channel. And if you want to know anything about any kind of pottery, he is the man to go to. But, I know a little bit. And I've got some of my favorite pottery.
Yeah, let's talk about some of your favorite pottery. I was going to just ask before that, have you found enough to perhaps glue back together and see what an item look like, or do you just pretty much find shards?
No, well, I have found quite a bit of Roman pottery, which I have been able to stick together. I mean, I found this is this is not recent actually. It's been just registered with the Museum of London. This unfortunately didn't find this part, but this is a Roman poppy head beaker. Beautiful, isn't it? It's got a little design on it there. That would have been used to drink from.
Really?
And, I wish I could have found the other piece, but that's got to be my most precious piece of Roman pottery.
Oh, that would look beautiful on display if you faced it just the way that you have it. I know.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? And I have found a few mortariums, that they used to grind their food up in. They're actually in the other room, unfortunately. But I've stuck those together, and so I found actually a lovely piece of Roman bottle as well. This is Roman glass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a neck of a Roman bottle. Again, it's on the database of the There we go.
I am
Beautiful,
like,
isn't
wow.
it?
Oh my
It's just, just to
goodness.
think that was on a Roman dinner table at some point. It's just
Wow.
incredible, really.
So would that have been a drinking vessel or just a bottle to pour from?
This would have been a bottle. You would have held the wine or the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it could have been used, to pour in there.
Wow. That see to me, like metal detecting and mudlarking and all, finding things, when you have it in your hand, when you first picked that up, did you have any kind of weird feelings or thoughts as to like going back to when the last person had that in their hand? Do you think about stuff like that?
Yeah, it's incredible. You can't help wondering, can you? I mean, and one of the things, which is a good example of that, is this is one of my most treasured finds, is my little onion bottle dating back to 1690.
Wow.
It's just so beautiful, and it's like a little onion. I guess that's why they called it a bottle. And this was in about 7 pieces when I found it.
Really?
I stuck it all back together, and yeah, of course, it's natural. You hold it and you think, God, who was the last person who held this and who drank out of it the wine or the brandy?
Yes.
And it's, like I said, it's quite magical.
It's very magical. And I think that, oh my goodness, I could talk for hours about this, but just going back and then, like I said, just who had that before it, was discarded or what happened? Who knows? It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It really is. It's very exciting. Yeah.
So you obviously find lots of recent pottery, or not pottery, but like just glass and stuff from today, do you not?
Yes. There's all sorts of debris like that. Yeah.
Are you finding more of that?
What, recent glass?
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, there's always going to be new glass, but I'm concentrating on the old, nice, worn glass because I use it to make. Glass fish and other little assemblages like that. But yeah, of course, there is a lot of modern glass around.
Yeah.
But I think, going back to mudlarking finds, I mean, my favorite of all finds are ones like this little tag here, which I was talking about yesterday. It's a tiny little luggage tag. But, very easy to overlook something like that when it's sitting in the mud. But when I realized there was a name on it, I was able to research the name, and there's the address as well, and the story of a World War I soldier opened up in front of me. And I was able to find out all about his life. And then I went and found where he was buried as well, which is around the corner from where I am. And I think this kind of find, and this is also very similar, this is a padlock, which also unlocked a story because of the name on it. These are the finds that are special because they take you on a journey of discovery, and you find out about people from the past who are essentially forgotten about. I mean, Fred Jury, who owned this little tag, he was buried in a pauper's grave in a cemetery around the corner, and we had to literally dig out the brambles, to find him. And so that's special because, some things are meant to be found, and the stories are meant to be shared. And these are some of them. Mm-hmm. The owner of this padlock, George Edward Morrow, had about 12 children, and his youngest son, Sidney, died a few months before the end of World War I in the war. And so, it's always special to follow a find to the story.
Yes, it is. And oh my goodness, it's absolutely fascinating. The history is just, wow, it's incredible. Now, where do you must, my goodness, you must have lots of stories. You mentioned a blog. Where do you deposit all these stories for future generations to read or to learn about?
Well, I do my YouTube channel, I guess. I mean, that's kind of That's my way of recording it all now, I think.
Yes, this is true. Yes.
So I do, I mean, I used to keep my website up to date. I'm a bit remiss with it. And the trouble is with social media, you can end up having so many accounts and websites and things to update that it's really hard to keep up with it, actually. My daughter just advised me to my young daughter said, you must join TikTok. And I said, no way. And then I had a go just for fun. And that's just blown up as well now, the whole TikTok thing, which I still have no idea what's going on TikTok. So, you know, I think at the moment, the way I record things is via my videos.
Yes.
And so, hopefully YouTube won't just suddenly go bust and I lose all the videos. But I have the raw files. So
yes, that's very, very important. Now, you also find... Just recently, I saw you find some. I don't know if you call them stuffed animals in England, but that's what we call them here. Plushies, like toys that are stuffed.
Toys, yes, yes.
I don't know what you call them. But I saw you find it. I think you were out with Cy Finds.
Yeah.
And you found two, either under some sort of metal or
Yeah.
something.
Well, if I just leave you for a second, I can grab a little handful of them.
Yes, absolutely do. While Nicola is fetching those toys.
Thames Toys Orphanage. I want to get a little handful of these toys. There are quite a lot. Oops, they're all dropping off the shelf now.
Don't forget to hit the like, everyone. If you're watching this and you have not hit the like, please do so.
Everyone, you all thought you were going to come and watch my mudlarking finds, and here I am with all my toys.
Wonderful.
Right,
Talk to us about those.
These have all been washed out in the Thames Tide. Lots of monkeys. I don't know why. Do you have a lot of monkeys?
We have sock monkeys.
Teddies. Some of them are very old. Some of them have been through the war. Some of them have been sitting on the foreshore for probably a very long time. They've all had a little wash. And here's the most recent. That's Duck.
Ah, yes. You were thinking about not bringing that one with you.
Well, it was these two, actually.
Yes.
But of course, I couldn't leave them. So they have joined the Thames Toys Orphanage.
Wonderful.
Which is in the corner of my studio here.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I probably look like a little bit of a mad person now.
No, they were, it's wonderful that you rescued them. You gave them a bath, you spiffed them up a little bit, and now they're on a shelf. How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
When did the idea of the Thames Valley Orphanage, when did that come about?
Well, you know, I think it was just I find them quite inspiring as well. There's something rather poignant about finding a poor, bedraggled, soft toy in the mud. It's sort of it just makes you want to take them home, really. Don't you think, everyone? Tell me you all feel the same.
I'm sure that you cannot. I think I would feel almost guilty leaving them behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because over the years, the centuries, you know, children have lost their toys in the river. I mean, I also have old toys from children who are, you know, back in the Victorian, the Georgian times, little lead toys, old cars, tiny plates from dolls' houses. So, you know, it's not just a modern thing. I mean, these children have been losing their toys in the river for years. Yes. And so it's just a continuation of that, really. And I think once you're a collector of things, it's hard to know when to stop.
Oh, no, you cannot stop. You can never stop. I think that you can never stop, but you would hope that the next generation will respect the collection and maybe even add to that collection would be really interesting.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the things I want to do is create a little museum, you know, and these toys, they're fascinating in their own way, you know. I find them really interesting. Maybe, you know, not as interesting as some of the older artifacts, but, you know, it's just an indication of some of the weird and wonderful things you can find. I mean, I found some very odd things in the river, including, this is one of the stranger things I found. I mean, whatever you find in the river, you do learn so much miscellaneous, strange information. And this is like a big ceramic egg. And if you rattle it, there's something in it. Of course, first of all, I had no idea what it was, but a little bit of investigation, I found that there was an anonymous artist about 10 years ago, I think, who placed about 4,000 ceramic eggs in the
Really?
Thames. And so people are still finding them. They're all different shapes and sizes. So that's
Wow.
fun. In fact, I've got another one. Yeah.
That
Another
is
one
very
here from
cool.
the same artist. So lots of different types of
Really?
egg.
Wow. That is that's almost like a Banksy.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And he's anonymous too, so we don't know who did it. But some of them have got
Ah,
serial numbers on the bottom. So that's quite fun. And then you
that
find things that you have no idea what they are. And I still don't really know what that is. I mean, that was in one of my videos. And I mean, it could be the top of a flag or something, but still not absolutely certain.
now you seem to have very resourceful and very smart followers, because anytime you put something out there and you say, does anybody know what this is? You do. People do respond. And they seem
Yeah, I do know. I'm really lucky with I think the whole mudlarking community on YouTube is really great. You know, they're so pleasant. You know, you very rarely get nasty comments, which can be prolific on YouTube, as you know, I'm sure.
yes.
And yeah, people know about everything, and it's fun. I think people like looking up things, and it's fun to engage people in the research. And I found some, people have sent me some fantastic links and information about my finds, and that's what it's about. You know, I am not an expert on everything I find, and I always want to make that quite clear, and I'm not an archaeologist either, and that's why I share these things too, because it's wonderful to be able to benefit from the knowledge of so many people.
Yes. Yes. Now I'm just going to, there's a question in the chat. I'm just going to a question in the chat from Riser's Treasure Hunting Emporium. He wants to know, does Nicola ever, or have you ever had any supernatural experiences on the Thames?
Well, it's funny. I would say I've had some strange experiences. Now this, and this is quite strange for me. I found this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it there. It's
yes.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get her the right way up. That's Queen Elizabeth there. Queen Elizabeth I, silver half a crown. Now I found this at the time when I was just about to give up my corporate job, you know, because I really hated it. I'd been in my job for about 25 years and I just wanted to do something more creative, but I was full of doubt about leaving this certain life, you know, of finances and everything. And so I spent quite a lot of time on the river thinking about this. And when I finished mudlarking one day, I wasn't even looking. It's so bizarre. I was standing looking out at the river and I looked down between my boots and there was this round thing, which I nearly didn't pick up because there are a lot of round things that are nuts and bolts and what have you. Mm-hmm. I picked it up and found this coin, and you know, that I hadn't even been looking for. But what was lovely is round the edge, you know, there's a Latin inscription with I have made God my helper, you know, and it just was quite meaningful for me at that time, you know, when I was thinking about giving up my job and didn't really know whether to or not. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just like a message from the river, you know, so that was special. And I've had a few messages in bottles like that too. And I don't know, just the very fact that you find something and you research the family and you're contacted by the descendants. I think I don't know. You do feel when you're down on the river that you can be surrounded by people from the past. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. There you go, Charlie. There is your answer to that question. Now, speaking of coins, you said that you lots around things in the river. I was really, really surprised to learn that you found your very, very first Roman coin about a year ago. You posted a video.
Yeah, that's right. But that wasn't on the river, actually. That was metal detecting in a field. Yeah, that was pretty too. Yeah, that was, I don't generally metal detect, not on the river, or I've tried it once or twice. But in the field I do. And yeah, that was a pretty amazing moment when I found my first Roman silver coin, actually, from, some Antoninus, that's right. Antoninus.
They were all Antoninus.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So, do you generally look at the coins that you find along the Thames, or like you said, they're just too plentiful?
Oh no, of course no. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's always a thrill to find coins. And recently I found some lovely ones. I think it's nice when you can't identify it straight away, and then you have the surprise of when you get all the crud off of it, seeing what it is. I mean, a few weeks ago I found one which I didn't recognise at all, but it turned out to be a Louis XIV denier, 6 denier piece.
Wow.
I found some, beautiful coins. It's always very, very special to find them. Now, and tokens as well. I mean, I found a few traders' tokens, and I think one of my favourite traders' tokens is the one from Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire of London started. So that was very special.
I would imagine so. Now, you find a variety of items, historical, maybe not historical, like pottery, like that vase and stuff. Have you had to learn to be a conservator of relics?
Well, yes. I mean, I have taken advice from some of my mudlarking friends, on how to preserve various things like leather, and even boar's tusks are something that fall apart very quickly. And so, you do start to learn about these things. I'm probably not the best person at doing it very well, and I don't really have very many sort of leather articles here that I've had to look after. But for sure, you start to learn about these things, definitely.
And you seem, like I said before, you seem to have a great network that you could just make an inquiry and get almost an instant response.
Yeah, there's a huge wealth of knowledge out there that you can draw on. There's some really great mudlarks and a really good mudlarking community. So many people on Instagram now, and there's so much knowledge, like I said. So I'm fortunate, there's so many people to ask, so many people who've been doing it for so much longer than I have.
Now, I was going to talk about the thumbnail that I actually created for this I guess this live stream shows you holding a skull.
That's right. That's when I was doing my Shakespeare piece on yesterday.
Very Shakespearean. Now,
it's not real. It's not real.
However, that may be so. But about 3 years ago, you found a jawbone.
That's right. Yeah, actually, I found a couple of jawbones now and a part of a skeleton. And of course, you do report that to the police when you find human remains. And they were analysed and forensically tested, and they dated these jawbones back to the 17th century. And where I found them, which was in southeast London, is near where the prison hulks were moored up. And so, I mean, of course, it could be anybody. We'll never know. But I've often wondered whether it could have been a prisoner from the prison hulks.
Yes. So that one jawbone that you said you found many, but they have been identified.
Well, they've tested them just to make sure it wasn't a modern sort of crime victim, and they dated it back in the 17th century, probably. So an old jawbone.
Yeah. So is that a somewhat common, or what? You must find body parts or bone. I guess bones.
There are quite a lot of bones on the foreshore. Well, most of them, thankfully, are animal bones.
Thank goodness.
I mean, I've got a great little piece of bone here, which I don't know if anyone will be able to identify. Anybody know what that is?
That looks like a spear point to me.
I know, it looks like a feather, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
If you've watched some of my videos, you might know what it is. But I was really puzzled by this for a long time. And what it is actually, it's a piece of turtle bone. It's a rib bone from a turtle. And it's great because I found it near a dump area of oyster shells and old bottles and pipes, and would have come from a turtle who probably was put into a turtle soup in Georgian times. It's just one of the other examples of bones that you can find.
Fascinating. Very, very. And it's just like you said, you learn about past, I guess, not civilizations, but past, well, like you said, that turtle could have been someone's soup.
Well, that's right. You know, I think that's the fun of the river. You learn things that you never imagined that you even needed to learn. You know, that's the thing. It's very motivating to research something that you found in the mud. Mm-hmm. And so you do end up with rather a lot of interesting knowledge that you could regale people with at dinner parties.
I was just going to say, you must be an interesting at a dinner party. It's like, bah, 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 bah. Have you seen this? Do you know what this is? Bah, bah, bah. Wonderful. That hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Now, going back to today, are you finding more and more of today's like pollution, like plastics and stuff, cluttering up the Thames?
Yeah, there is a lot of plastic. There is, but luckily, I mean, during the lockdown, to be honest, I think it's given nature a little bit of time to rejuvenate. Although I have found quite a lot of masks washed up recently. Yeah. You know, it's worse out on the Thames estuary, I think, in my experience. But yes, there is that problem of plastic bottles in the river and lots of plastic rubbish. But there's luckily some excellent organisations like Thames 21 and a lot of mudlarks take bags with them and take plastic away as well when they go mudlarking. Mm-hmm. So we are all engaged in the fight against plastic.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, let's talk about Cy-Fines, your pal Cy-Fines. Can we do that?
my mud buddy Cy.
Can we do that?
Yeah, he's got a great YouTube channel too. He is a great mudlark. He's in the Society of Thames Mudlark. So I am a standard permit holder, but he is in the Society of Thames.
Oh wow, hoity-toity!
Yeah, so he won up from me.
Always enjoyable, the banter between you two, and he's also very knowledgeable in items that you find. You can kind of like bounce ideas off of each other, which is absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
he's a great mudlarking colleague to have. He's very, very good.
So when did your paths meet? Did they meet on the Thames?
No, actually met Simon through the Thames and Field group. He's also part of the Thames and Field group of mudlarks, and so yes, that's how we know each other, really, I think. And it was through YouTube, I think, because he started his channel off. Well, he started his channel slightly after mine. At least he started making some YouTube videos after mine, and so I asked him if he wanted to do a collaboration, and then we went from there, really. So I mean, it's nice doing videos with two people, because sometimes in my videos I'm never in them because I can't film myself.
Yes,
so it's nice filming with other people sometimes because you get to actually feature in your video.
Exactly. Now, you've had the opportunity to collab with quite a few YouTube personalities. I think I remember, was it Aquachigger? Did you collab with him?
No, I didn't do anything with Aquachigger. We did go out with nuggetnoggin.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
And I took Tony Robinson mudlarking as well from the Time team. Yeah. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was fun.
Did you not go were you out with Chill Bill or no?
Oh, yes. I've been mudlarking with Chill Bill.
He seems like a very nice gentleman.
He is. It's the only mudlark I know that wears his kind of, shirt and suit on the
Oh, is there somebody that you would like to collab with that you haven't yet?
Oh, there's lots of people I'd like to collaborate with. Believe me, after this lockdown is over, I really want to go traveling and hook up with as many people as I can. I was supposed to go to New York last year and was hoping to collaborate with some people there. And I'd love to. And I really want to go back to the States and do something. I was watching a really interesting video yesterday from somebody in Vermont who found a beautiful pendant from a lady when he was metal detecting. But I mean, if there's anybody out there who'd like to do a collaboration with me, please get in touch, because I'm really keen. I want to travel around and do collaborations with as many people as possible.
Right on. Now, my dream collaboration for you, Nicola, here goes. This is my dream collaboration with you. I would absolutely love to see you, and I don't know if this is ever possible. I would love to see you mudlarking with the young princes and princess.
Oh, what you mean, Charlotte and George?
Charlotte, George, and Louis.
I
would think that would be probably a most monumental collaboration.
Well, it was funny actually. When the other day I found these coins on the Thames foreshore, and I think I had a Charles and a Louis the 14th. And it did occur to me then that I was kind of building up a little collection of the royal family then. Well, that's an interesting suggestion. Maybe I will write to Kate and ask her if I can take the children mudlarking.
Because I know she's very big on educating the kids, like in the outdoors. And
right, I'll get on it. Yeah.
I don't know if you have any pull with Her Majesty or or Prince William or whoever. And I doubt that Kate is watching this right now. However,
yeah, well, okay, I'll have a go.
I think that would be fabulous. You with the 3 children on mudlarking. Can you imagine what they would find? I think it would be fantastic. That would be fun. That would be fun. And I got to say that those items that you found, I think they were kind of a little bit foreshadowing that collab.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've got me thinking now.
My goodness. We have hit the 1 hour mark. I would like to talk about Tideline Art. I think more people need to, if they don't already know about Tideline Art, tell us about that.
Okay. Well, Tideline Art is it is art inspired by found objects along the river and on beaches, anywhere that's got a tide, really. And I particularly love making glass fish out of the glass that I find. Actually, I haven't got any left now because they have all sold. And I'm taking a few weeks now to a little holiday to get back in and do some of that because, sometimes you just need to recharge your creative energy a bit. And so I've got lots of glass here and I'm looking forward to making some of that over the next little while. But on my website, tidelineart.com, you can see some pictures of my glass fish. Mm-hmm. And, I like making assemblages as well out of bits and bobs.
So you not only create the fish, which I think that was my first introduction into Tideline Art, was that blue fish. I would imagine, do you make other colors, or because that one that I saw that I first saw was a blue fish, and I couldn't believe that you make that.
Lots of colors. I've got so much glass. I'm silly, really. I should have one here to show you, but every color I use. I mean, red, blue, green, and every color. There's so much beautiful glass to collect, and I've got actually loads of it now. So I'm really ready to make another sort of shoal of these fish.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you have some glass on a table and you thought that kind of looks like a fish? Like, where did the idea to make a fish out of glass come from?
Actually, to be honest, I saw there was a Russian lady who was making some fish out of little bits of sea glass about 20 years ago. I saw them and I never forgot about it. And I just thought one day I really want to try and make something like that. So I suppose, just like most artists, you're always inspired by somebody else's work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, can viewers purchase items from Tideline Art Creations?
Yeah, they can. I have an Etsy site, which is Tideline Art Etsy site. Unfortunately, it's a little bit empty at the moment. It might have a few pottery cards on, but I'm going to fill it up, when I can. I'm just taking a couple of weeks to make some items, and I'll also be putting some of my clay pipes on there when I put the fish on as well. There's a lot of people asking about clay pipes, so I do have some now. Actually, it's a friend who's found a lot of them, so I'm going to be putting them on as well, all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. As we wind down the show, what I just thought we could kind of talk about some of probably your most cherished finds. Doesn't matter what they are. You might have even mentioned them earlier, but is there something that, you must have thousands upon thousands of items that you have picked from the mud, but is there just something that just stands out to you?
There's lots of special things. I suppose I wear a heart that I found on the river, just there.
Wow.
I actually had it stuck onto the silver. It wasn't silver. It was just a very detailed little Georgian heart, and also a tiny, a couple of hearts actually. So that's very special to me. I love that. I always wear it when I go mudlarking, and I must admit, I always feel a little bit naked without it when I go down to the river. So that's very, very special. I don't know, of course, who wore it once upon a time, but it's a special find. But yeah, like I was mentioning before, I think a lot of my favourite finds are the ones which don't really look very special at all. They're the ones with the names on that can, bring about somebody from the past to research. So I've got a lot of those. Everything's very special. I mean, I really need to go through my finds and organise them. It's going to be a fun job.
Yeah. Is there a catalog? Like, I mean, is there a database? Are you that
organized?
Do you have that? Yeah. There's a database somewhere with every little bit.
No, I used to work as a personal assistant, and I could organize everybody else, but I am not actually that good at organizing myself. But one of these days, I will get organized and put it all in a database. Yeah, that's on my long list of things to do.
You might have to hire a bunch of people.
I may well have to, because there's so many things. Even the tiny buttons, with the names on. They're just, they're all worth a little spot on the database.
Yes. What would you say is your oldest find? Do you have anything that goes back to like pre-Britain or pre-London?
Well, I mean, I've got fossils. I haven't actually found any flints myself, but that's probably more because I'm not terribly good at identifying them. I found fragments of what I thought might be a worked flint, but apparently they're not. I think there's a real way of identifying worked flints, and I haven't quite got that good at it yet. But I have, so fossils really. I haven't found anything older than Roman, as far as I know. Maybe some Iron Age pottery, I may have some, but I haven't found anything older than that.
What about odd? I guess that little dog was kind of odd, but would that be your oddest find?
No, I found lots of odd things. I mean, I did do a video a little while ago of my strangest finds. And now you've asked me what they are.
I apologize.
Yeah, sort of obscure things, obscure bits and pieces. And I mean, I found another set of pharyngeal teeth the other day. I always rather... Wow. It's not an artifact, but they're still so strange.
I guess it is.
And of course, I've got my now where is it? My I Am Brett. You must know about that. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Hang on, let me just grab this. This is one of my funnier finds, and I think maybe people have seen this. I picked this up, and I thought it said, I thought that it said, I was like, oh, it's I Am Brett.
Lambretta? A Lambretta from a scooter, is that?
Yeah, but I thought that it was, I thought it said I Am Brett. So now for me, this will always be I Am Brett. I'm going to have a t-shirt with I Am Brett.
That might, I'm going to have to watch that video.
So do you agree? It could be I Am Brett.
Well, I suppose it could be I Am Brett.
I Am Brett.
You do have to get a t-shirt with that. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm going to sell a line of t-shirts with I Am Brett.
I Am Brett. Now the only I'm gonna say that the only reason that when you showed that I said Lambretta and it was from that little scooter was because I used to watch it was an American show about two pickers who used to go and pick up antiques from people's
right.
And that is the only reason that otherwise I would say that is I Am Brett. I just want to say, who broke that to you? Who broke that to you and said that's not?
No, it was fun because I did actually. I mean, I genuinely thought I was, oh, brilliant! It's another name I can research. And luckily, I caught the whole thing on camera, and I decided to show it because it's quite funny. Really,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah,
that is absolutely hilarious. Oh my goodness. I'm not laughing with her. I don't want please no hate comments.
It's all right, don't worry. I think a lot of people have found it hilarious.
Oh my goodness. So did you ever all those years ago when you created your YouTube channel. I'm sorry, I have tears in my eyes from laughing. Did you ever think that you are at 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel? Did you ever?
101.
Are you?
Actually.
Wow.
Now,
did
1,
you ever?
Yeah, I don't
think,
know how it goes after that, but
did you ever imagine that was even possible?
No, I didn't at all. No, it's really amazing. It's just brilliant. It's just it's great. It's exciting.
Has YouTube sent you the silver play button yet?
No, I'm waiting for the little code that you're supposed to get it in your YouTube studio. They're supposed to send you a code that you can redeem it to get your thing. But I haven't got it yet. I haven't got the code yet. So I think it takes them a little while to get round to it.
That will be. I hope you celebrate that, because there are not very many people that have those.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting.
Right on. So what is next? What is next for Nicola? What is next for Tideline Art?
Well, I'm going to carry on making my videos and finding stories in the river, and I'd love to do more collaborations. That would be something I'm really keen to do. And so that's it, really. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing and creating and enjoying it. That's the main thing, being excited and enjoying doing what you're doing.
I agree, because if you lose that excitement, then it becomes work, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, no, but it's really exciting to be able to share stories with so many people, and I'm sure that everybody else with a YouTube channel can identify with that. It's lovely to be able to share your pleasure and joy and excitement with what you do with other people.
Mm-hmm. So where can people watching keep up with your? I think you mentioned a few of them. Your social media presences? Where are you on social media?
Well, on Twitter, I'm at Tideline Art, and on Instagram, I'm Tideline Art. If you want to venture onto TikTok, I'm not sure it's a good idea, but I think it's Tideline Art Mudlark or Nicola White Tideline Art. I'm sure if you go in there and put mudlarking, you'll find me. And so it's all Tideline Art. Mm-hmm. Really, and my website is tidelineart.com.
Are you on Facebook?
Oh, I am. Yeah. Oh, crikey, I've forgotten about that. Yeah, I've got a Facebook page, Tideline Art, as well.
So whatever social media anybody is on, just pop Tideline Art or mudlarking into the search box, and I am certain that you will pop up.
Yeah.
Excellent. And as well, just I'm reminding everyone that when your stock replenishes, people can actually purchase items that you have
there's a link
created.
to my Etsy site on my banner page of my YouTube channel, actually. Mm-hmm. So again, it's Tideline Art. So but when I do have some things in there, I'm going to let people know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Nicola, I just want to say it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. Just an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for saying yes to my email. Oh my God.
Oh, that's okay. Well, thank you for inviting me, Liz. It's been absolutely lovely to talk with you and to talk with everybody here. And, when I make it over to Canada, then we could do a collab.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you heard that here. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Thank you. Wow, just thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope that I look forward to your whatever the next milestone is for your next play button. I think it's 500,000, and then I have no doubt that you will be joining the ranks of the 1 million subscribers.
Oh, I don't know, my crikey, but that'll be when I'm like 85 or something. I'll still be traipsing across the mud in my boots.
Oh my goodness! Just bring your cane in one hand, that'll, and your camera in the other, and it'll be fine. That'll be fine. I'm sure by then they will probably have thought about modes of transportation that will get you. Just giving them that mud. Thank you again so very much. Thank
you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to just say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to just pop you off the screen if that's okay. And yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, Nicola. Seriously, thank you.
Okay.
All right. My goodness, that. Gotta say, absolute. Oh, is this even working? Oh my goodness. I think I've lost I've lost audio. Is this working? I think I've lost my audio. Did I lose my audio all of a sudden? I don't see anything here. Can someone tell me, can you hear me? I don't think you can. I think I lost my audio. I don't see anything on my screen. Did I lose my audio? Someone let me know if you can hear me. I hear you. Okay. I'm not getting any indication here on the screen that my audio is working. You can hear me. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to thank you all so very much for joining me today. It has been, wow, I think one of the highlights of Coffee with Liz to have Nicola on the show. Absolutely incredible, incredible guest. Wonderful stories. And if you have not joined the ranks of people who are subscribed to Nicola's channel, I am absolutely certain that you will definitely be checking out her channel and subscribing to her many, many adventures. If you have an idea for a guest that you would like me to chat with, do not hesitate to send me an email. diggingcanuck@gmail.com is where you can get a hold of me. If you are watching this in the future, I thank you for watching the replay. Please consider joining us live one day. We do Coffee with Liz every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also upload a video on Tuesday, usually metal detecting. On Wednesday, we do live coin roll hunting at 3 p.m. and then back again on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock with Off the Cuff. That is going to be it for today. Great show. Thank you all for joining me today. Until we meet again, I want to say, remember to keep it real. Please be safe, and I will catch you on the tube. Have a great day. Get your official Diggy Canuck merchandise at Teespring. Mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. Remember that every purchase you make helps to support the channel. Check out the link in the description down below.